Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with a new video, and today's video is going to be all about bronzers. I realized recently I haven't done any videos on bronzers on my channel, and I don't know how I've not done that because I've been doing videos on like foundation, concealer, powders, and I don't know how bronzers has slipped away from me. But I know a while ago someone did ask me to do a comparison of the Pat McGrath bronzers against all of the bronzers I have in my collection, and I was planning on doing that video actually today, but I cannot find that Pat McGrath bronzer, so I'm gonna hold off on that for a while. But I am going to be sharing, I would say, my most used bronzers in today's video. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. But anyway, let's just jump right into it. So the first bronzer that I'm going to be mentioning is the Gucci bronzer. Now, when I first tried this bronzer out, I was not a fan of it because I picked up shade 5, I believe, first. And to me, 5 looks very red on me. It almost looks like blush, especially if I go in with too much. Of course, over time, I've grown to like this bronzer. Now, whenever I use shade 5, I won't put blush on because this really still does look like blush on me, especially if I put too much on it, and I tend to be a little heavy-handed sometimes. So whenever I have shade 5 on, I will not go in with any blush because it just looks crazy to me. But let me do a quick swatch. As you see, this is what the Gucci bronzer looks like in shade 5. So on my complexion, it pulls a little red. I don't like red bronzers. I think I told y'all that before. I like my bronzers to give me just enough warmth, or I prefer them to kind of look like contour. I don't like super red bronzer, and this is what that gives me. Now, shade 4 is definitely a shade that is going to bronze me up just enough. Don't expect to see redness. This is what it looks like in the pan. It's going to give me just enough warmth to my complexion, and I'm completely okay with that. So let me do a quick swatch of this one. And this is shade 4 next to shade 5. And as you see, shade 4 is kind of orangey, but I don't mind it. I can deal with the bronzer being kind of orange versus red. If it's too red, I won't like it. And the next bronzer, that's one of my most worn bronzers. This is the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Bronzer. I have the shade Dark. When I first picked this up a while ago, I wanted the shade Deep. I think it was like Deep Dark. I know it's a shade after this one. My Sephora didn't have this in store, so I ended up getting this one. I took a chance. And this is another bronzer that's going to warm me up. It's not super red like the Gucci bronzer. It just gives my skin just enough warmth that I'm okay with. And it is kind of on the orange side a little bit, like the Gucci bronzer in shade 4. This is what it looks like in the pan. So let me swatch this one. And this is what the Makeup by Mario bronzer looks like in the shade Dark. This is another matte bronzer that's easy to work with. With the Makeup by Mario bronzer, when you're using this, I would say use a light hand because this can get kind of patchy somewhat. And the next bronzer is actually in this face palette. This is the Nars Summer Unrated Blush Bronzer Duo. I'm not sure if this is still available. I think I got this last year. Yeah, I believe it was either last year or the year before. And this is obviously a blush and bronzer duo. I don't really reach for the blush like that, but I do like the shade. I mainly use the bronzer. Now, this bronzer is one that when I use it very light hand. I don't go in heavy-handed because this is one that is very pigmented, and also this is one of those bronzers that pull red. So I like to, use a very light hand when I know a bronzer is super red and very pigmented. So let's do a quick swatch of this one. It's not as red as the Gucci bronzer in shade 5, but it is a little on the red orangey side, I would say. But this is a really good bronzer. And the next most used bronzer in my collection is the One Size Made for Shade Bronzing and Trio Sculpt. So with this one, you get 3 different shades. I believe one of these shades might be a contour shade. I don't know, but I feel like this one will take care of all your bronzing needs. And the reason why I say that, you get 3 different shades. So I feel like this one will be the best one to get for your money. Just in case if you're somebody who don't mind trying bronzers with different undertones, because you get one that's a little on the red side, You get a bronzer that pulls a little orange, and you get one that is a little on the cool side, kind of like contour. So this is one that I love too. Whenever I do use this bronzer palette, I take a brush and I dip it in all 3 shades, and then I'll go in like that. I don't just use one particular shade. So I'm gonna swatch all 3 shades for you guys. And the first shade, I feel like this one pulls a little on the orange side from what I remember. Yeah, I was correct. As you see, it is a little on the orange side. Sorry y'all if my swatches is sloppy. And the middle shade is a little more on the red side. Has more of like a red undertone. That's what that looks like. And as you see, the pigment is definitely there in this bronzing trio. And this is what the third shade looks like. So as you see, it is very cool. Kind of almost looks like contour. So yeah. And the last bronzer is definitely my most used bronzer in my collection. This one I reach for the most. I use this one almost anytime I put makeup or a tinted moisturizer on. I just love this bronzer. If this is one that gives me just enough, it's no shimmer, it blends out easily, it's just a really good bronzer. And I have the shade 8 in this bronzer, and I'm going to do a swatch. And this is what it looks like, the Dior Forever bronzer. Sorry y'all, that's a little sloppy, but I didn't have any more room on my arms to swatch. Y'all, I just love this bronzer. Like, I love it, I love it, I love it. And you can pick this up at Sephora. All these bronzers that I mentioned today, you could get at Sephora, I believe. So y'all, that is it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. These are the top bronzers that I use the most in my makeup collection. Y'all let me know in the comment section what are the bronzers that you reach for the most. And most importantly, do not forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.